Moving ahead, the next theorist would be C. Booth. Now, C. Booth also developed this transactional reader response theory, or he also focused upon this idea that when a text comes in contact with the reader, a transaction takes place between the two, and both of these just cannot stand in isolation and understand the text. But he does not talk about aesthetic mode or of afferent mode. He discusses this transaction between the reader and the text in different ways. Now, he comes up with implied reader and implied author or implied writer. Now, these are the two concepts or two things that C. Booth discusses under transactional reader response theory. Now, he says that whenever a writer writes a text, he has got two persons in mind. One is the implied author. The implied author, for that matter, is the second author or second self of the writer, the writer and the narrator. They are same things, but still the narrator is the second person, is the second self from the writer. So narrator is the implied writer, implied author, and implied reader would be that reader who is in the mind of the writer when he is writing, and he thinks who the implied the author basically thinks that this reader, when this text reaches to this reader, and if this reader starts reading this text in this way or in this implied manner, only then the correct meaning of the text would be understood. C. Booth says the author creates in short an image of himself and another image of his reader. He makes his reader as he makes his second self. And the most successful reading is one in which the created selves, author and the reader, can find complete agreement. Now, this transaction takes place with an agreement of ideas, agreement of ideology, agreement of state of mind, agreement of everything. Now, this agreement should take place between an implied reader and an implied writer. Now, both the implied reader and implied writer exist in the mind of the original author when he is writing the text. So, the transaction under this heading, according to C. Booth, would not be from afferent mode or aesthetic mode, but would be between two persons, reader and writer. But both of them are implied. They are not, for that matter, real. These implied readers and implied writers existed in the mind of the author. And when do we realize the real meaning of the text? Would be when there is that compatibility between the implied reader and the implied writer. That was C. Booth's idea or concept of transactional reader response theory, wherein he talks about implied reader and implied writer. C. Booth also develops a different idea of criticism, and he calls it ethical criticism. In one of the books, The Company We Keep, Booth talks about this kind of reader response criticism or this kind of reader response theory wherein you have implied reader and you have implied writer. So both implied reader and implied writer must have that minimum understanding of the things related to both of them to reach to an agreement where they can understand the text. But here he says that there exists an ethical criticism also, and in this ethical criticism, what Booth says that it's not only about implied reader and implied writer, but there are interconnections and connections between our real life and literary works that we consume. And he says we can no longer pretend that ethical criticism is past. It is practiced everywhere, often surreptitiously, often guiltily, and often badly, partly because it is the most difficult of all critical modes, but partly because we have also so little serious talk about why it is important, what purpose it serves, and how it might be done well. Now he says that this ethical criticism, mostly people think that it's dead, it's outdated, but that is not the case. In ethical criticism, what we need to realize is that literary work and our real life, they have got a great connection. Now if literary work and literary life have got connection, if they are interconnected, then it is just not good or right to say that they do not influence each other, and that the implied reader and implied writer should not exist, and that reader should not have a say. When literary works are but a reflection of our real lives and they are interconnected, then they should also be looked like that. But the ethical criticism has not been established well by many. Even if it is practiced, as he says that it is practiced everywhere, but not satisfactorily. It may be, some people are practicing this ethical criticism shyly, some are practicing it badly, others are practicing it ignoringly, and also for that matter, we have not been very serious about this ethical criticism. And one of the reasons, says C. Booth, that we have not been, practicing this ethical criticism is because many people have confused ethical with the didactics. And if you remember, the new critics, they were not happy with the didactic approach towards the text. But C. Booth says that ethical criticism is not didactic criticism, but ethical criticism attempts to describe the encounters of a storyteller's ethos with that of the reader or listener. It does not have a didactic approach, but what basically ethical criticism does, it encounters the storyteller's ethos, which means the storyteller's culture, language, ideology, time, historical data, everything with that of the reader. And when does a proper transaction take place? When this storyteller's ethos are well understood by the reader. Now what you have here is a subjective and historical approach to determining the meaning of the text. And again, it's a transaction between the storyteller, between the writer, as well as between the reader. Therefore, ethical criticism deals more about language and ideology. Now, it takes into account the significance of the language as well as of the ideology, as well as the circumstances, as well as the political aspects, as well as the historical aspects, which were all ignored by new critics. So, ethical criticism would be another means, another ways of transaction that takes place between the text and the reader. But this is slightly different from implied reader and implied writer. So ethical criticism is all about ideology and language. Now it's not merely about implied reader and implied writer, but here reader, even if he cannot be an implied reader, has to realize the ethos of the storyteller, has to understand the culture, has to understand the perception of the storyteller, of the narrator, in order to understand the meaning of the text. Booth further says, a fully responsible ethical criticism will make explicit those appraisals that are implicit whenever a reader or listener reports on stories about human beings and actions. Now what here Booth basically means is that ethical criticism evaluates those things which are implicit within the text. By implicit he means which are not directly conveyed to the text, conveyed to the reader, but what reader through ethical criticism would try to do would even understand those things which have not been directly spoken about, directly talked about, and by taking them also into consideration will be able to make a good analysis of the text. And this appraisal, this evaluation of the implicit things are obviously those, that is the ideological influence, the historical influence, the political influence, the maybe biographical, the biographical influence that the work may contain, which the writer would not be talking directly within the text, but would be referring implicitly. Ethical criticism will also give us a mode, give us a way, a method to analyze that also. Now that was C. Booth's ideas about the transactional reader response theory. primarily talking about the implied reader, implied writer, and ethical criticism.